Alrighty, guys. So we move on with our Trial of Sekhemas series. Now, this time we are going to go over the buffs, the boons, right? And in case you haven't done Trial of Sekhemas much, there are actually boons called major boons there. Most of the stuff that you see there, the ones that are familiar to you, are minor boons, right? The major boons are much harder to acquire. And let's go over them first. So let's start with Achilles Guard. You cannot be damaged for 1 second after taking damage from an enemy hit. So, for example, this is useful if you get caught in a trap or something. But I would say this underperforms as a major boon. So let me talk for a second about how major boons are obtained. So the merchant can rarely sell them. When you are receiving a boon from a shrine or something, you can get these, and there is a minor boon that converts the next minor boon that you receive into a major boon. Be careful with that. So, guys, let's say if you bought that from the merchant and then you went to the next merchant and you see something that you very much want, boom, gets converted into a major boon, right? Don't forget about it. Try to remember that. So this is, I would say, would be D or C tier, because, guys, the idea is to not receive damage or to very rarely receive damage. So this only becomes helpful when you get stuck in traps. Uh, All seeing guide, the next one. The map is fully revealed. This also overrides all afflictions that prevent you from seeing their map properly. There are three. One prevents seeing you which kind of rooms they are, the rewards, and the afflictions. It overrides all of these as it says. And I would give this a B tier. So, guys, this is going to sound funny, but there is one thing I dislike about this. When I'm trying to think out the route, when I'm seeing the entire map, I actually spend a lot of time, right? It actually goes faster for me, and I don't have this, so I'm going to give you a B tier. Feel free to disagree, right? I wouldn't object. Crystal Shard, I like this one. The next affliction that you gain is converted into a minor boon. I would say maybe A tier. It's okay, right? Dekara's necklace, the best one there is, or the second best one there is, right? You cannot receive any more minor afflictions. I mean, this basically means around one, right? You can just go into any room. The only bad thing about this one is sometimes you forget about, oh, I get another affliction. When I get an affliction, bam, just go into it. You are not going to receive any afflictions. This is S tier. This is superb, right? The first time you get it, it's gonna feel very good, right? Especially when you go to a nasty room while you forget about it and you don't actually see the affliction. You're like, oh, I have the necklace, right? It's beautiful. That's S tier. Earned honor, restore some of your honor upon room completion. For me, I have 5,300 honor. This restores 40 for me. I would say solid A tier, because we are doing Sekima's runs on the premise of not getting hit very often. So this so on the top level of farming, this is S tier, because you don't really take too much damage, and when you do, this negates it. It's very nice. I would give S. Garukan's favor, this is the only favor that can compete with Dekara's necklace. Ignore the first damage taken from an enemy in each room. So, guys, because we are playing on the premise of not taking too much damage, very rarely, this is awesome. And thing is, just like the note, there is one thing that's missing from this note. This stacks. So, for example, guys, you get this, you go into a ritual room, no damage in ritual rooms, so it goes up to 2 stacks. So in the next room, if you take damage twice, you are not going to take any damage at all. The only thing is that they didn't mention is it resets between floors. So, for example, guys, you come to the boss with 4 stacks, the boss damages you twice, you go down to 2 stacks, and the next room you go, it's going to be 1 stack, right? Because the floor has ended. But this is S tier, solid S, right? Alongside with Tekara's necklace. Holy water, gain a random boon when you venerate a market shrine. I would say C tier, because the problem with this is, I mean, you do major boons do not grow on trees, right? And if you don't get this one early, it's not gonna net you a lot of boons. So yeah, mediocre. Traps are disabled. This is pretty nice, especially when you are struggling with traps. I would say In the low and medium tiers of farming, that would be S tier, and in the top tier of farming, this would be B tier. And not this doesn't disable all traps. The portal traps on floor 4 are Xerox devices, and they do not get disabled. And as the note says, I don't recall this, but some floor traps on floor 3, but it kind of disables most. So guys, gauntlet rooms become kind of trivial. Or ballast ladders upon reaching 0 honor, revive once with less, with 50% honor. I would say B tier maybe for low level of farming, and for top tier of farming D or F tier, because that shouldn't be happening. Sacred water found is doubled. I would again say like maybe B tier, because major boons are not obtained very easily. So at this point, it generally is too late, but sometimes it can happen, right? It can be C, B tier maybe. Reparations, I would say F tier. Whenever you take damage from an enemy, you gain 2 sacred water. Well, the idea is generally to not get hit at all, right? Or very rarely. So this is not going to net you a lot of sacred water. Maybe in the earlier stages of farming, it would be like C tier, but it's a bad one. Sekhemas cloak, that's the last major boon. Upon reaching 0 life, revive once with full honor. I mean, oh, 0 life, F tier, not even 0 honor. This one is somewhat okay. This one is very bad, because guys, it just doesn't happen. I mean, go between the mobs, stand AFK, let them kill you, and your life would be still staying intact while your honor is going to get depleted, right? So that's really, really bad. I mean, maybe in the very early stages, it's a very bad one, I would say. Let's go on. Let's take a look at the minor boons now. Adrenaline Vial, 30% of your honor. That doesn't work that way. It actually restores much, much less. I'm guessing it's basing that honor amount on your life or something, only because I have 5,300 honor, and this restores something like 300 for me, 400. So that's not true. That doesn't restore 30%. I would give this a C tier. I mean, if you think you are going to take a lot of damage, you can get it, but generally the cost is a little bit too much. So there are some repeatable boons here. You can repeatedly obtain them because they work for one room only. I hate them with a passion, with the exception of one. They are very bad. I am going to give all of them a solid F. Uh, the next 10 boss monsters are hit. I mean, the next 10 non-boss monsters should already be dying when I hit them, right? Maybe they can take like 2 hits. That's absolutely not worth solid F. I guess I was a little bit unfair to Balbala's gift. That's nice. Your next purchase from the merchant has no cost, so this has 2 uses. I mean, you can just buy something that's being sold on the merchant for cheaper, right? Let's say Balbala's gift costs you 280, and there is something that costs 420. That's nice, right? You just buy it and buy the thing. Or you could just buy it and save it for the next merchant, and then buy the expensive stuff for free there. So that's that. I would say this would be C to B tier, something like that, because at the end it doesn't help. Blackbird traps deal 50% less damage. This is useful when you are taking a lot of damage from traps, right? Earlier on, I would say A-ish, A, B on low tier. B would be more like it. And D or so on the top tier of farming. Sacred water floor found on this floor is doubled. Again, I would say C tier. If you are going to enter a room with a large sacred water fountain, it's nice. If you are entering a room with a sacred water fountain, it's okay. Entering a boss room, meh. Yeah. Enchanted urn, solid S, right? I would say the best boon in the mid and low levels of farming, and the second best boon in the entire game on the highest level of farming. And I'm including major boons as well, but this is better than majors. Why? Because guys, you are going to use relics that give you increased quantity of relics drop, and that amplifies that. And also, if you are at the top level, right, you are going to use movement and quantity, and this is going to improve your movement speed and relic drop. So for example, guys, I am using 6 1020s, right? Which means this is going to give me 18% movement speed and 36% of increased quantity of relics from the final boss. So yeah, this is the second best boon there is. I did argue about that. I thought this was the best boon, but yeah, I did change my mind. And we are coming to the best boon. 50% more Sacred Water found awesome early on, right? Because then you are able to arrive at the urn and the hairfoot, which we are getting to, which is the best boon. So why? Because if you are swimming in sacred water, get the pun, you can just buy anything the merchant offers, so then you can increase your chances of getting the ones that you actually need. Fountain of Youth, that restores a very minor amount of honor when you venerate a market shrine. It's a D tier, not very nice. Monsters deal less damage, I would say B tier. I like this. I mean, if you are taking damage, it should help you mitigate. It's not a bad one. Glowing Orb, it's terrible. D, F tier. Next time you go below 20% life, that's not going to happen, right? Maybe some low life builds can get that, but yeah, I don't like it at all because the low life builds, the builds that play with low life, they kind of have a huge energy shield, and yeah, that's not going to happen. Pretty ugly. This is the best boon in the entire trial of Sekhemas. 40% movement speed at the top level, at very least, right? At the low and mid levels, probably Urn is better, and at the top level, at the paupers and medium levels, Urn is better, and at the top level, hair foot is better because, guys, you just want to make the runtime as short as possible, and nothing shortens the runtime as much as the hair foot, right? Because compared to the Urn, it gives 22% more movement speed at the top level, and Urn gives 0.36 relics, which does not equate to the 22% movement speed. But when the movement speed goes extremely high, sometimes there is a problem with climbing the stairs, right? The game cannot path you properly sometimes. 50% increase on the restore. If you have taken some damage, this is nice to mitigate it, or if you get the annoying 50% reduce on the restore, this can help you. I would say B minus C plus tier. You have 50% increased defenses because your honor is the sum of your energy shield and life. This actually will give you more honor, so it can be nice. Sometimes you get nasty afflictions, reduced honor, reduced energy shield, and the honor pool can go a little bit low. This gives a nice breather, so I would say B tier again. Traps are slower, again better for lower levels of farming, and not very useful at top level. I'm gonna give it a C. Mirror of Fortune, solid F, repeatable and annoying and useless. Right? You do not really do too many. So this is the only repeatable one alongside the Balbala's gift that is useful. Moment's Peace. So guys, one day I was doing a run and it was going awfully, right? And I somehow made it to the room before the boss, but I have like 40 under or something, and I don't have too good damage, so the fight against the boss is going to take some time, right? So I'm definitely gonna die, but I just didn't concede and went there. So there was the merchant there, and I actually bought this and I was able to finish it. So this is beautiful, especially if your character is struggling. But other than that, I mean, it can be useful maybe in gauntlet rooms if you are, taking a lot of trap damage. It would help there, but it's of course not a very good use of your sacred water because it just helps you prevent that damage in that one room. 25% more maximum life, not great, but because your honor is based on your life and energy shield, so it can give you something like 400-500 honor. Something, I guess. D tier. You and your minions deal 50% more damage. I would say S tier on mid and low levels of farming, and I would say A plus or something for the top level of farming. I mean, it just doesn't measure up to the hair and the urn, but it's right next, right? Because this is solid, right? Monsters have 30% maximum less life. It's almost the same thing with the ornate dagger, right? Instead of us dealing 50% more, we have to deal 30% less. So this is, by the way, almost as good. Don't let the 50 and 30% deceive you, right? There is not a huge difference because them reducing their HP makes a difference, right? We have to deal 70% only. So this is only a little bit better. So this would be at the same place, almost A plus tier, and I would say S tier in the early stages of farming. So on the top level of farming, it's a little bit below the hair, foot, and earn because you wouldn't need these, right? They are not needed. But at the top levels, they are. At the not the top levels, they kind of are. Now, not maybe literal needed, but they are very useful. Silver chalice, it's okay. I mean, there are really stupid major boons out there. I'm gonna say C, B tier, C plus, B minus. 50% reduced merchant prices. A tier, I would say it's pretty nice, right? Especially early on. Like you get it, you can just spam buy everything until you can hit the hair, foot, and the earn. Scrying crystal, you can see one additional room on the map. This can be useful when you receive the curse that makes you see one room less, right? Because seeing only one room is a little bit dangerous. The game can force some nasty afflictions on you. So I buy that to negate that. I'm gonna say B tier maybe. Upward path, it's a bit weird. So your sacred water found is increased by 10% stacking on every room, but when you buy something from the merchant, it goes away. So the ideal move is buy this, kill a boss, or do some fountain rooms, and then spend wild. But yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to skip a merchant for this one, so I am gonna give a C again. And Viscous Cycle, I actually like this. Monsters have 15% reduced action speed when your character isn't that fast. Reducing the monster's action speed is pretty useful. Their movement, their attack, and their cast speed gets reduced by 15%. This is pretty nice. I mean, it allows you to get away with, maybe taking it a little bit slow. I'm gonna give it a B plus, A minus tier. So this, I try to buy this one in my rounds, right? I mean, the 50, obviously the hairfoot, right? The enchanted urn, and the ichor, the dagger, and the vial. These are what I want to buy, and of course, the silver tongue and the increased sacred water found help me do that. And as you can see, there are a lot of repeatable buying ones, right? Upward path is repeatable because when you buy something from the merchant, it goes away, so you can buy it again, right? Upward path, moment's peace, mirror of fortune, uh, Assassin's Blade, the Balbala's gift. These are all repeatedly buyable, and it can be pretty frustrating when you get a boon from a shrine and you get one of these and doesn't even allow you to take one away from the pool of the not very good ones. So that's about it for boons. We have the afflictions remaining, and we'll go over the farming tiers, and I think that will be it. Maybe, yeah, we can conclude this series, and I will see you in the affliction video. Bye bye.